Foreign student F-1 visa to attend university or college in the United States of America. As a foreign student looking to attend the university or college in the United States of America to advance your academic career, you will need to attain an F-1 visa. To be eligible for F-1 status, you must meet the following requirements. Be a bona fide student qualified to pursue a full course of study. Seek to enter the United States temporarily and solely for the purpose of pursuing such a course of study at an institution in the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, Student and Exchange Visitor Program, SEVP, has certified to admit non-immigrant students. Have a foreign residence, which you have no intention of abandoning. Have a Certificate of Eligibility for Non-Immigrant Student Status, Form I-20, issued in your name by a designated school official of a school that the ICE Student and Exchange Visitor Program has certified to admit non-immigrant students. Have sufficient funds available for self-support during the entire proposed course of study, and provide proof that you have paid the Student Exchange Visitor Information System fee on payment of fee remittance for certain F, J, and M non-immigrants, Form I-901, if applicable. Intent to depart. In order to be eligible for F-1 classification, you must intend to depart from the United States after your temporary period of stay. For example, upon completion of your program of study and any authorized practical training in this country, or upon termination of your non-immigrant status, and have a foreign residence that you have no intention of abandoning. Yet, as U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services has made clear, the foreign residence requirement should be adjudicated differently for students than for other non-immigrants. Typically, students lack the strong economic and social ties of more established applicants, and they plan longer stays in the United States. The Immigration and Nationality Act, Section 101, Sub A, 15, Fi, assumes that the natural circumstances of being a student do not disqualify the student from qualifying for non-immigrant status. Considerations should include the student's present intent, not what they might do after a lengthy stay in the United States. If a student had a foreign residence immediately prior to traveling to the United States, even if such residence was with parents or guardians, they may be considered to be maintaining a residence abroad if they have the present intent to depart the United States at the conclusion of their studies. The fact that this intention may change is not a sufficient reason to deny them F classification. In addition, the present intent to depart does not imply the need to return to the country from which they hold a passport. It means only that they must intend to leave the United States upon completion of their studies. Given that most students are young, they are not expected to have a long-range plan and may not be able to fully explain their plans at the conclusion of their studies. The student must have the present intent to depart at the conclusion of their approved activities. In 64 Federal Register, 29,208, 29,209, the government did state that, quote, so long as the alien clearly intends to comply with the requirements of his or her non-immigrant status, the fact that the alien would like to become a permanent resident, if the law permits, this does not bar the alien's continued holding of a non-immigrant status, end quote. A student may be the beneficiary of an approved or pending permanent labor certification application or immigrant petition, and still be able to demonstrate their intention to depart after a temporary period of stay. United States Customs and Immigration Services officers generally view the fact that a student is the beneficiary of an approved or pending permanent labor certification or an immigrant visa petition as not necessarily impacting their eligibility for classification, so long as the student intends to depart at the end of their temporary period of stay. In all cases, the officer must consider all facts presented when determining whether a student is eligible for the F student visa classification. Sufficient funds. F-1 students must have sufficient funds to successfully study in the United States without resorting to an unauthorized U.S. employment for financial support. F-1 students must provide documentary evidence that sufficient funds are or will be available to defray all expenses during the entire period of anticipated study. Evidence of financial ability for prospective F-1 students includes, but is not limited to, family bank statements, documentation from a sponsor, financial aid letters, scholarship letters, and a letter from an employer showing annual salary. While this does not mean that the applicant must have cash immediately available to cover the entire period of intended study, which may last several years, it is generally required that the applicant has enough readily available funds to meet all expenses for the first year study or the length of the program, whichever is shorter. Additionally, applicants must demonstrate that, barring unforeseen circumstances, adequate funds will be available for each subsequent year of study from the same source or from one or more other specifically identified and reliable financial sources. These are the core eligibility criteria for foreign students seeking to attend a U.S. university or college under the F-1 student visa classification, with the recognition that there are further nuances and specifications that need to be navigated and understood. As the administrator of the U.S. visa system, the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services provides extensive insights and information for foreign students seeking to attend a U.S. university or college under the F-1 student visa classification. We welcome you to subscribe to our channel for more informative, instructive videos, as well as learning about our international legal practice. Thank you.